all the students. I hope the short clip was wonderful. Yes. So, so that short clip was saying a lot of things, right? And so, yes, it was very wonderful. Yeah. So, yes, I welcome all of you for today's Positive Thinker seminar. And before every Positive Thinker seminar, we are showing this short clips so that it will give a very nice lessons for all of us to implement in our life. So yeah, so I'm very grateful that daily you are coming. Today is a holiday for all of you. So yeah, thank you for joining. And before starting, so the short clip which I was also seeing, and it was so nice that as you see that son of a father, he rebelled against his father and went to a city to enjoy the life. But he understood, oh, it is very difficult. There are so many sufferings. I cannot enjoy separate from my Lord, separate from my uh, like father. So then after suffering a lot, he was thinking, oh, why did I do this? The solution of this is that again I should go back to my father, and my father will accept me, and that is the only solution. So after that he went again to his father, and his father accepted him, right? So as we also see in this world, many problems are there, right? Birth, death, old age, disease. There are three sufferings, and everybody is suffering because of some reasons. Now the solution is that again going back home, back to Godhead, spiritual world. So similarly, he also understood the solution, and he went back to his father's home. And as you see, when he approached, when father saw, the father was more eager. The father was more eager than his son to approach. His father told, get him new dress, give him food, and the all the things that father will provide. Similarly, when we also go to spiritual world, where there is no sufferings, no birth, death, old age, disease. So everything is the happiness, that real happiness which we are talking, is there in the spiritual world. That's why our goal is also to go back home, back to Godhead, to live a happy life. So it was very wonderful short clip that I thought to share with all of you. So yeah, now coming back to our today's Positive Thinker seminar, part 2, love of a boy that attracted Lord of Universe to appear. So yesterday there was a part 1 for this session, and I'm very happy that we have again with us Mr. Smruti Sahu sir. So sir, am I audible to you?
Yes, audible.
Yeah,
Clear.
thank you sir for joining again, and giving your association to all of us. So some of the students were absent yesterday, so just a short introduction of sir. So sir currently working in a Tata Steel uh, Limited company at the post of senior manager, and also he also connected with the voice from 2008, and sir give many seminars to youth based on Bhagavad Gita, which will help them in the growing their spiritual life. So yesterday there was a Narasimha Chaturdashi. So sir told about the Hiranyakashipu, and then we came to the Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj entry happened yesterday. So now let us hear from the sir about the next part. So thank you, sir, for joining this morning. Yeah, so handing over to
Thank
you, sir.
you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I welcome all the students again for the second part. Am I audible? Clear?
Yes, audible.
Okay. Uh, just a second. So I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Yesterday, we paused from a point where there was a question by whom I forgot, but where is that? Yes. So we are going to start from today. Start today from here. What is this window? Okay, this can be minimized now. Okay, good. So Yesterday we were discussing about how we saw two, three things, important things like first one is that there is a difference between materialist and there is a and spiritualist. What are the characteristics of materialists? They are totally they totally believe that matter is everything in this world, and they never care for the spirit. They think that they can manipulate matter and they can control everything. They can be the master of the matter, the things that are there and there around them. They can control money, they can control even situations. They think in that way. Whereas the spiritualists, what they do is they know that yes, to some extent we control matter, but to some extent we control the matter, but it's not that we are the complete controllers. We are also very tiny controllers, but after a certain point, control is taken by someone else. It is just like, I can control this switch. I can switch it on or off. Then the light either glows or goes off. But imagine if there is power failure from the grid, there is no power. So what do you think? Even though I hit the switch 1,000 times, but still it will not work because the control is in someone else's hands. So similarly, there is a difference between materialist and spiritualist. And then we saw that how Hiranyakashipu was a demon and he was trying to, he also did tapasya. He also did severe austerities for pleasing Lord Brahma and then getting a boon of amaratva, or like eternity. He doesn't want to die. So then he thought, then Brahma says that no, I cannot give you this amaratva because I myself am not living continuously for eternity. So what I can give is something lesser to that. Then Hiranyakashipu tricked him that he put all those conditions that I should not die in a day or a night. I should not die outside the room or inside the room, not by any weapon or by any animals or humans. So there were several such conditions that he put, and he thought that perhaps this is sufficient enough that nobody in this world is able to kill me. So I'll become more and more powerful. So after he achieves, Brahmaji gives this vardhan that okay, you can go ahead now. Tathastu. Then what he does is he tries to misutilize his powers and create terror among the countrymen, among the demigods. He went to conquer the Indra Loka. He threw him away. So all that activities of terrorism that he does. So there was a similarity between Hiranyakashipu and our life. We are also like tiny, Hiranyakashipus or Ravanas or Kamshas or anything of that sort. So we also do not want to obey the laws of God and want to do whatever we like to do, and instead we go completely opposite, totally materialistic. Even our education system is also designed in a way that they are creating more and more competitiveness among us, that survival of the fittest, or we are always in a rat race, that we are trying to achieve more, we are trying to gather more, we are trying to fight against each other for facilities. We think that the more we gather facilities, the more happier we will become, but actually it is not like that. Okay, so with this thought we will continue our second part. But before that, yesterday there was a question that if devatas during this Samudra Manthan Lila which happened, they had got this Amrit. So if the devatas has taken Amrit, then how they can say that we are not Amar, or we are also bound by the time frame that we die, we take birth and we also die. So the point is, if you read carefully the Shastras, then you will find out the meaning of what was it exactly. This Amrit, which was which came out from this Samudra Manthan Lila, is actually not giving Amaratva. Rather, it is increasing the lifespan of everyone in this heavenly planet. And not only that, it gives certain additional features like there are 4 problems of our life, like birth, old age, disease, and death. But one who drinks this Amrit, he will not have these 2 problems. What are they? Jara and Vyadhi, or the disease and uh, you know birth, old age, disease, and death. So old age and disease, Jara and Vyadhi, these 2 problems will not be there. That means the devatas will be always youthful. They will never become old. But yes, death will definitely come. I'll just show you one sloka from Bhagavad Gita, which I found was relevant in this regards. This is chapter number 8, sloka number 17. Okay, Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 8, attaining the supreme, and sloka number 17. It goes like this. I know all of you cannot repeat after me because this is a Zoom class. So I'll recite. Sahasra yuga paryantam ahar yad brahmano vidu ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratra vidoh janaha. I would request that if you have one copy of Bhagavad Gita with you, or at least you can find it out from internet, the PDF, you can read this purport. Bhagavad Gita as it is. Please see, there are many copies of Bhagavad Gita, many translations of Bhagavad Gita available in the market. But please read this one, Bhagavad Gita as it is. This is the most authentic and widely known Bhagavad Gita. So this will give you more clarity. The translation goes like this. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together from the duration of Brahma's one day. And such also is the duration of his night. So this is what they are saying is 1,000 ages. Brahma's whole one day is explained here. And in the purport, you will see that it is clearly mentioned that there is a difference between the time scale of our earthly time scale and that is there in the heavenly planets. Like we have got these 4 ages, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. These 4 Yuga cycles combined together is called as one Mahayuga or one Divya Yuga. So this total, one Divya Yuga, I'll show you one more picture for more clarity. It is I downloaded it one. Of course, these are just some of the facts and not relevant too much. But what is relevant is the learnings that we take out from this, exercise or whatever we are studying. So yes, if you can see this, that these 4 yugas, Kali Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Satyuga, they are combined together called as one Divya Yuga. One Divya Yuga is equal to 4 yugas. So 71 such Divya Yugas combined together called as one Manvantara, in which there is one Manu who is the presiding king for that particular time period, right? And 14 such Manvantaras combined together become Kalpa. One Kalpa is just a daytime of Brahma, and one such night of Brahma is combined together one day, 24 hours of Brahma. So such kalpas, so this is just one day, so you can multiply it by 30 days, so that is 1 month, and 12 months, that is 1 year. So Brahma lives for 1,000 years. So that is the lifetime of Brahma. And so within that lifetime, so what happens is Lord Vishnu, when he's lying on the Ananta Shesh in the ocean of milk, Kshirosagar, so he exhales and then again inhales. His exhaling means creation of universe, and his inhaling means uh, destruction of the universe, pralaya. So in every, it's like Mahavishnu is just exhaling and then inhaling. So whatever time that is, within that time only Brahma is spending thousands of years and then coming back. So that is the time period that we are talking of. Okay. So similarly what happens is, this is a life of Brahma. So similarly what happens is the devatas also have got a very long life compared to earthly time period. So that's how it is almost equivalent to as if they are uh, like amar, but they are not amar. It's something like infinity means, it's like we don't know from where it is starting and from where it is ending. So we cannot measure infinite, but yes, it is not that ki infinite is totally endless. That's not the concept. In the material universe, not even Brahma is free from the process of birth, old age, disease, and death. Brahma, however, is directly engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord in the management of this universe. Therefore, he at once attains liberation. So the point is, Brahma is not free from death. Death is available for him, but within this one inhalation and exhalation, that time period is very high. Okay. So better you can read about this and you will get to know something more. I hope that this answered your question. And there are some benefits of drinking this, what we call this Amrit, was that their body will never stink, first thing. Their shadow will not fall on the ground. And they have ever youthful body. There will be no disease and old age for them. So these are some of the benefits, extra benefits that the devatas get. So this was not given to the demons or asuras because it was they will definitely misutilize. So that's why this was not given. Okay, Rohit, you are asking again that, but sir, again the same has arisen. So maybe Rohit, better you can do is that you maybe after this session you can call. So we will discuss separately and sort this out. Okay, so we'll proceed with this second part of our journey. Already we have killed almost, we have taken almost half an hour. So I'll go quick. So yesterday we saw that Prahlad Maharaj was, he was trying to teach his father about devotional service, whereas Hiranyakashipu was not ready to listen. So he taught him the different aspects of spirituality. Like one of the things that he told that, father, nobody can take anything with him while he is dying. The houses, the cars, the laptops, the money, everything will be left like that only in this world, and we will have to go back. So why are you running after all these things? Is it this is not actually the wise man's job, but rather only thing that we can carry with us is devotional service, because that which we cannot buy with money, that is the real wealth that we have. That is what we have really cultured, that is what we have really imbibed in us. So this is like a spiritual bank account. And the more and more accumulation that you have in your spiritual bank account, it never vanishes, it will continue for the next life. So let's say this life you have got 100 rupees in your spiritual bank account. So the next life when you get birth, so you will start from 101, because already 100 is there in your saving. But imagine there are crores of rupees in your bank account, in the bank. But at the time of death, we cannot even take a single penny. So he was saying that this is the real wealth that we have to uh, nurture. But then this Hiranyakashipu, he was becoming more and more angry. So what he did was he threw him off his lap, and he told his fellow mate that, okay, you can take him back and teach him properly. So then again, Sanda and Amarka, they take him back to the school and they try to teach that why are you behaving like this? Why can't you to listen to the instructions that your father has given or we are giving? Then Prahlad Maharaj says that, oh sirs, it is just like a magnet. When magnet is there, automatically attracts the iron filings, right? So I am also like that only, because my mind automatically gets attracted to the qualities and the pastimes of Lord Krishna. What can I do? And then he also starts teaching to his teachers also. So teachers also give up that this boy is totally uncontrollable, we cannot do anything about him. Sometimes, like in between the class, there will be breaks. Let's say lunch break is there, there is sometimes sports break is there. So during these breaks, what Prahlad Maharaj will do is he will gather all of his friends. So he will call all of them together and try to preach them, try to explain them about devotional service, that how this chanting of the holy name is so powerful, and this is what actually connects us with the Supreme Lord and pleases him. The more and more we do devotional service, the 9 processes of devotional service, like the Sravanam, Kirtanam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. So these are the 9 different processes of devotional service. If we do that, then our human birth will be successful. Otherwise, we are just wasting our life. Prahlad Maharaj says that it is just like, you have seen chewing gum. Initially the chewing gum is like, once you open up the wrapper and smell it, it is very fragrant and it's mouth watering. You put it in your mouth, so there is a little bit of juice coming out in the initial days, initial time. But then after you chew it for some time, the juice actually vanishes. Now what is remaining is only the gum part, there is no juice. But still people keep on chewing, sometimes while we are playing cricket, or we are just like that only in the classrooms. People have this habit, they chew, and at last they take and put it on the bench or the table for someone to play. So they'll crack jokes on him. So all that. So Prahlad Maharaj says that this is just like, this material world is just like chewing the chewing gum. Once already it is chewed, there is no juice in it, but still people are going on like that only. See, he would teach all of his classmates in this way, and the classmates would ask, no, you are also one of our classmates only, but how come you are knowing all these things? From where you got all this knowledge? Then Prahlad Maharaj will say that, when I was there in the womb of my mother, so that time Narad Muni had instructed on this Bhagavad Dharma. So I have learned everything from him. And the success of our life is when we surrender ourselves to the will of Lord Krishna. So then all these students, they also get affected, they also get influenced by Prahlad Maharaj. And then every one of them, then Prahlad Maharaj will say, enough of talking, now let us go and start the practical session. Theory is, keep aside the theory, let us do practical. So what they will do is, they will start chanting the names of God, and then dance, and then do feasting. They would cook nice prasad and then offer it to Lord, and then they will take it. So everybody in this classroom was very happy and jolly. Now this is all fine, but what happened is, seeing all that, Hiranyakashipu became very angry. So he said that, now this is enough. It is like, then what he does is, he instructs all his army men that you take him and throw him off the cliff of a mountain. So he was thrown from the mountain. He was put into this hot pan of oil, and then he was put into the into a place of totally deadly cobras, who will bite and then kill him. He was saved. And then from they also put him inside this yeah, not inside, but under the big elephants. The elephants will come and stamp him, but still he was saved. He was having complete faith on the protection of Lord, that yes, Rakhe Krishna Mare Kiye, I don't have to really worry about and I mean saving myself. So of course we cannot imitate the level of dedication and surrender that Prahlad Maharaj had, but at least we can try to learn the principle that he was carrying in his heart, and we can apply it to whatever extent that we can do. We should not become fanatics, rather we should try to become more and more practical and then apply them in our life. So seeing all that, Hiranyakashipu calls him to his palace, and then he says that, from where are you getting all this energy? We are trying so hard, but still you are not I mean dying. From where are you getting all this energy? Then Prahlad Maharaj says that, my father, the same source of energy from where you are getting your energy, I am also getting the same, right? So Lord Krishna is sitting in everyone's heart, and then he is providing the energy or the memory or the strength, the ability to do activities. So you are also getting the same energy from the same source from where I am also getting. Then this was like height of uh, like offense towards Hiranyakashipu. He felt like that. He said, there is no God, there is no God nowhere. I am only God, so you have to worship me. Prahlad Maharaj replies that, see, there is God everywhere. You say nowhere, but I say everywhere. Then Hiranyakashipu, he just goes with a sharp sword, and he was just about to cut off. Imagine the father, he's trying to cut off the head of his own child, and that too very small child, 5-year-old. That was a time when actually parents should love and I mean pamper the children, but there he was feeling that he is my enemy, because he's becoming a devotee of Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. So let me go and cut off his head. So there, before cutting off, Hiranyakashipu again asks, so do you think he is everywhere? Can he come and protect you? Prahlad Maharaj says, yes, he is there everywhere. He is present everywhere. He is there within your heart, within myself also. So then Hiranyakashipu says, do you think he is there everywhere? He is there, here also, there also. Then he says, he asks, is he there inside this pillar also? Prahlad Maharaj, without any second thought, yes, he is there inside. Basically, Hiranyakashipu might have thought that, see, I only constructed this pillar, I only constructed this big palace. I never, I put cement, rod, and all those sand, everything inside it. I only created, but I never put any Hiranyakashipu or any, Vishnu inside that. So from where he will come? And that too, that is also a dead matter. From where? How can that be possible? So he was thinking it's not possible, right? But to his amazement, he thought, let me just go and try what happens. So he throws his sword and he takes his mace and starts hitting the pillar. So as soon as the pillar comes, pillar is broken, from there came a ferocious personality. Who is he? Lord Narasimhadev. It was a half man and half lion form. He was neither a man nor a lion nor an animal, and he was he was like totally all 10 hands, different weapons. He was huge, gigantic. It is said that Prahlad Maharaj's size was compared to like size was so much so big that this Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad will be like a small, like single celled animal, like amoeba kind of, you can imagine. So if Prahlad Maharaj is just an amoeba, so Narasimha Dev is like a human being. So that was the size of Hiranyakashipu, sorry, Lord Nrsimhadev. But seeing this Ugra Rupa, he was Ugra, he was ready to fight and kill this Hiranyakashipu. But still, Hiranyakashipu never, thought that okay, my death has come, so let me surrender at least. Even though, see, the quality of a demon is that even though right in front of him, Sakshat Bhagwan, he's standing, but still he cannot recognize it. The same case was there with Ravana also. Sometimes people say that अरे भगवान भगवान कुछ नहीं होता, अगर है तो दिखाओ मेरे को, मैं देखना चाहता हूँ. अगर वो अभी हमारे सामने आ जाएंगे और हमको ये बोलेंगे तो then we will obey him or listen to him. But the point is, these people, even though you bring God in front of him, but still they will not listen. That is the problem. The examples are like here, that this Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksh, or the Ravan was there, Kamsa was there. So right in front of them, personally, God has to come and show His power, but still they were not ready to listen to Him. And then what happens? There was a fight. Hiranyakashipu started attacking Narsimhadev, and they fought for about 3 prahara, almost like 9 hours. Okay, so continuous fight was going on, and uh, with that fight, Hiranyakashipu became totally tired, and actually Narsimhadev was waiting for the time to come. That means the evening time. So that will be neither a day nor a night. So this Sandhya or the evening time. So till that time, Narsimhadev waited. He allowed this poor Hiranyakashipu to fight and show his power in front of him. But then it was not successful. So during the evening time, what happens? Narsimhadev takes Hiranyakashipu onto his lap, and he tells him that remember, you had asked for a boon, certifying all these conditions. So here the time has come. So you are neither on ground nor on air. You are on my lap. You are neither inside a room nor outside. It is the door. It is just the junction. I am neither a man nor a lion. I am not killing you with any weapon or any mantra. I'm killing you with my nails. So all these conditions fulfilled, then what he did was he just ripped apart his chest, and he took out all the internal organs, and he was just putting on his neck. It was very ferocious, and the roaring sound of Lord Nrsimhadev was so high that even the 3 worlds, even the devatas were also able to feel the heat of the situation. So everybody was fearful and trembling because none of them had seen such a form of Lord ever before. Okay, so but Prahlad Maharaj was very peaceful. He was not worried, because he knew that whatever is the will of Lord is going to happen. Right in front of his high eyes, his father was getting killed, but still Prahlad Maharaj was surrendered to Lord. Okay, so then after that, when Narsimhadev, kills this Hiranyakashipu, and then that time he was very angry. So everybody was fearful how to pacify this angry, God. Otherwise, he will create havoc in this world. So Brahmaji was trying to pacify, but then he also became fearful. And Lakshmi ji was asked, you are the consort of the Lord, so you may be able to pacify. So please go and pacify him, that he should calm down now, because already Hiranyakashipu is gone. Then she also felt fearful. And then finally, Prahlad was asked that, see, because of you only Lord came in this ferocious form, so you only have to go and pacify him. Otherwise, it is not possible. So then Prahlad Maharaj says that, he becomes very humble and says, Lord, what can I do? How can I pacify? I don't even know how to, chant the mantras properly. I don't know anything. I am a fool. I am a son of a demon. I have taken birth in the class of a demon. So I don't have any qualification. What should I, offer to you? But oh my Lord, please, be pacified. That much. So with the sweet words of this child Prahlad, Lord Narsimdev becomes very pleased, and he lifts him and puts him on his lap. And then he asks, if you want to ask anything, then ask for a boon. I am very much pleased with you. So Prahlad Maharaj says, my lord, am I a merchant? Am I a businessman that, because you are pleased with me, so I'll ask for some material benediction? It is not possible. I don't want anything. But Lord Narsimdev, he insists that, yes, please ask. I want to give you something. I'm very much pleased with you. Then Prahlad says, if you want to give me something, then please remove all the mischievous things that are there in my heart, so that I can become a pure devotee, right? And if possible, please forgive my father, because he was not knowing what he was doing. I beg forgiveness from my father, so please excuse him. Then Lord Narasimhadev says, don't worry, your father, what to speak of only your father, your 14 generations I have already delivered, from the top and from the bottom, his father, his father, his father, like that. Okay, so with this all discussion happened, then Narsimdev becomes pacified. So the point is, this whole pastime was an depiction of what happens, what is going on in the mind of a materialist, and what is going on in the mind of a spiritualist. Okay, so there are some question and answers. We will go and try to solve a few of them, and then we will go to the conclusion part. Okay, yes. Yes, you can see these photographs where how Prahlad Maharaj was tortured so much, but still he had complete faith and he was saved. So can you take this question number 9? What was Prahlad's solution to the blind men who were unaware of ultimate goal of life, being led by other blind men? Perhaps this was there in the earlier passage, which I had kept open for you. Yes. So these foolish people, who are the leaders, they are like blind men. They don't know the complete truth, but they are trying to lead other blind men. So what happens? Both of them fall in the ditch, right? None of them is succeeding. So what was the solution that he has given to these kind of blind men?
Last. Last option, sir.
Yeah. Such foolish men can never attain happiness unless they surrender to Lord's pure devotees like Narada and be guided by them. Okay, so the only solution is that we have to take guidance from those who are learned. Now, they only can guide us properly. Uh, so the answer is the last one, to surrender to Lord's pure devotees and be guided by them. Okay. Yes, we have already discussed all these things. I just completely narrated the pastime, that how Prahlad was dancing with his school friends during the break time. So that was the time where he would teach all his fellow classmates, and he had completely prepared, and they have changed their hearts. Okay, but then you just see here, Narsimdev was so big, and this Hiranyakashipu was like a tiny, person in front of him. But still, he fought ferociously. Mm. But then finally, he was like ripped apart, and then Prahlad Maharaj goes for pacifying the Lord. How did Prahlad respond to when Hiranyakashipu advertised himself as greater than the Supreme Lord? Prahlad was telling that, Hiranyakashipu was telling that there is no God, anywhere else. I am only God. So Prahlad immediately accepted that. Prahlad declared that no one is equal or greater than Lord Vishnu. Prahlad did not want to make his father angry, and thus he, for the time being, agreed. Prahlad challenged him, saying that Hiranyakashipu was not God and glorified Lord Vishnu. Which one of them is correct? The option B and
B and D.
D. Yes, the option B and D. Right. So the Lord performed these pastimes by fighting with demon for some time, and in the evening, on the border between the day and night, the Lord captured the demon, right, and he killed him, right. Yes, we saw all these things, fill in the blanks, that he fulfilled all these criteria, that not, and one of the criteria that Hiranyakashipu was very smart. He said that I should not be killed by any other living being within this 8.4 million species of life. There are almost 8.4 million different types of species that are existing on this Brahma's creation. So he said that none of your creation can actually kill me. Okay. So then that was the only reason where Lord had to come in a very different form, half man, half lion, but full God. He was having the full potency of God, but in a half condition, and he was ready to show to this world that no matter how smart you are, no matter how finely you plan yourself that okay, we will be saved from the atrocities of this nature or from other living entities, but time is the most powerful thing that will kill everyone, that will destroy every plan of yours. Okay. So we are on the last part of this session. Okay, so I'll give you this, these one or two first and second activities that we will do. Even Hiranyakashipu, the most powerful materialist, could not become deathless by his various plans. What then can be accomplished by the tiny Hiranyakashipus of today? Those plans are thwarted from moment to moment. So the question is, who are the Hiranyakashipus of today, and what are their plans, and how are their plans thwarted? You have to give some examples of classic examples of today's Hiranyakashipus, nowadays those who are there, and what are their plans, how they are planning to become deathless. Maybe you can either post your answers in the chat, or you may actually share. Maybe you can unmute yourself and then explain. That will be much better instead of putting on chat. Can you allow everyone to unmute, change the setting? Okay, Rohit is telling that by using science and technology to be free from all the fourfold miseries. Yes, we are trying to create temporary solutions to all these problems. The point is, see, even scientists are also not at fault. Okay, people who think this world is for enjoyment and do sinful acts for enjoyment. Yes, these are the Hiranyakashipus of today. They have this slogan, then kal kisne dekha hai, जी लो जिंदगी, to the fullest extent. So like that only they say, eat, drink, and be merry. That is what is the mm, uh, only philosophy that people carry. Yes. So I was telling you about this science and technology part, which earlier Rohit had said. See, there is no problem in science and technology, in fact. Okay, so technology is enabling us to, solve some of our problems. But then this belief that technology alone is going to help us is what is very dangerous. That is called, just like we call na Hinduism, Christianism, or ism. So it is like scientism. Scientism means we believe that we are the followers of science. That's what is the biggest problem. Okay, so now you can unmute and answer. Vikram has allowed all of you, so it will be better. You should not waste your time in typing. Scientism means what happens is, just like you see right now we are amidst a pandemic situation. uh, did any one of us ever believed that in the 21st century we will face such a situation, and not only one or two persons in this world, but rather the whole world is now suffering because of this, right? We had so much of our plans, we had high tech facilities, medical, and we had very high communication levels and all, but still, are we able to put a full stop to all these problems? No. In fact, you will see that like in your second session of your discovery yourself, you had learned about these three uh, types of ways of gaining knowledge, right? That is the Pratyaksha Praman, the Anuman Praman, and the Shabda Praman. There are three ways. All of you remember these three? Can someone of you just tell me what are the definitions of these three things? Pratyaksha, Anuman, and Shabda. Anyone if remembers?
Pratyaksh Praman means precision. Then
Hmm.
Anuman Praman is by thinking and making some theories. And Shabda Praman is the
Guesswork.
ultimate. Shabda Praman is the ultimate way of getting knowledge, that is from the Vedic literature, or hearing
Yes.
from the people who are authorized and follow proper parampara of Guru Shishya Guru Shishya.
Okay. Thank you, Mohit. It was wonderful that you remembered things very clearly. So the point is, see, now we are in a situation of pandemic, and we are doing Anuman. Can you realize this? We are doing Anuman or not? It is something like, I will just tell you. See, the scientists and the doctors, they created this vaccines, right? Few days back, they said that this vaccine first dose, after you take the first dose, the second dose is to be taken after 28 days. Okay. So now after some time they changed it. They said, no, 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 not 21 days. You can take it even after 54 days. Now what they are saying is you can even take it after 84 days. So the point is, no offense to any of the doctors. They are doing a great work. They are trying to create solutions for helping the human race. But what I'm trying to tell you here is that this is Anuman. There is a lot of guesswork that is going on because none of us has actually seen the results. None of us know what is there in the future. So what we are doing is actually doing a guesswork, right? So the modern day Hiranyakashipus, or the small demons, we all are, what we are trying to do is we are trying to separately enjoy, and we don't want to surrender to God. And what we do is we either go by the direct perception, the Pratyaksha, or Anuman. And we think that these are the only two ways of actually solving all the problems. Right? This is what is called as scientism. We put more faith on science than on anything else. Right? But nowadays, I think everyone around us has at least realized that अभी life का कोई भरोसा नहीं है. Do you agree? No matter how hard we try, and this first wave of pandemic has gone, and second wave, there are so many great personalities are leaving their bodies just like that, whether it is because of lack of oxygen or non-availability of doctors or beds or timely untimely treatment, etc. But the point is, whatever may be the reason, that we are not able to stop, we are not able to control everything, right? So uh, Then what we can do, like Prahlad Maharaj pastime only. One time he asked one of his friends that one of his friends, actually small childhood friends, he said that um, see, all these things are practiced at the time of old age. Why we are now all young students and we are all very playful, and this is the time for us to play and enjoy. Why should we practice about spirituality right now? Then Prahlad Maharaj says, what is old age? Can you define old age? Who is old? Then his friend says that, oh, one who is very close to death is almost old. Only after old age only generally death comes. That was the idea that they had. But then Prahlad Maharaj says, can you give me some guarantee that you will not die tomorrow? So then the friend becomes very upset. So the point is, everyone who has taken birth in this world is bound to die someday. So we don't know how much time is there with us, right? So everyone around us, in this pandemic situation, this is actually, see, earlier also the death rate was 100% only. Anyone who has taken birth is going to die. But this time what has happened is, the time has come very closer. Everyone is totally confused now, that how much time do I have? I don't know. So the point is, we should try to increase our sincerity towards practicing devotional service, whatever time we have in our hand. So this human form of life is very rare, and we should not waste it just in acquiring more and more material facilities. Okay, so we'll go to the next question. That the Upanishad instructs us not to make one-sided attempts to win the struggle for existence. Everyone is struggling hard for existence, but the laws of material nature are so hard and fast that they do not allow anyone to surpass them. So explain with examples from modern day scenario. Perhaps I gave one such example of this pandemic situation where people are, although we are all having so much of facilities for treatment and all, but still uh, people are dying like anything, right? So if we just try to solve the material side of our problems, then there will be like we will be losing this opportunity of human life. Rather, we should try to utilize it in a better way. We should do the best use of a best bad bargain that we have got this birth. Okay, and we should try to use this body as a vehicle for crossing this uh, world and go back to Godhead. I hope I'm not speaking very heavy things. These are all very common and easy to understand things. We should try to reflect on ourselves. Okay, so we should not become demons, but rather we should try to become uh, you know devotees. That is the lesson that we learn from this pastime. Okay, so I'll stop here because it's already 9:47. If there are any questions related to this topic today, then we can take. Otherwise, you may continue with your normal activities. Okay.
Sir, I have a question related to this.
Yeah. What's your
Sir,
name?
Rohit.
Okay, Rohit. Yeah.
Sir, you have told that the Prahlad Maharaj asked the boon that you should remove all the miseries from my heart. So
Mm.
eventually, it is in the hand of the Supreme Lord. So why
Yes.
don't the Supreme Lord or removes all the miseries from the heart of every people so that we all will become pure?
Oh, yes. Nice question. Nice. Thank you for asking this question. Many people have this same, idea that if God, everything happens by the will of God, then why doesn't He solve all the problems of this, world? He should take everyone back to the, um, material, sorry, spiritual world. But the point is, see, cleaning is not very easy. Okay, it is very painful. It's something like, if you the point is, people do not allow themselves to clean actually. But once you surrender completely, then Lord is there. He will definitely clean up. He will definitely give you the clear path to progress in spiritual life, right? He will. It is said that if you take one step towards God, then He will take 1,000 steps towards you, right? Just in the beginning of this session, you saw this one animation video. So there you saw that this son who was actually dying out of hunger, he just thought of going back to his father. Even he was not able to walk to his father. So what did his father do? He ran. He ran and picked up his son and embraced him and took him back to his house. He gave him all the facilities, right? So similar is the case here. The moment you surrender, then actually the cleaning process starts. But the problem is many people do not surrender. That is the issue. Either they have got little faith that okay, so I don't know whether. Now imagine this example of Hiranyakashipu has taken a sword and he has put that sword on the neck of Prahlad and he's just about to cut. Okay, so and he's very angry and he can cut it anytime. So if you were at that situation, what you would have done? What you would have done?
Maybe most probably I would apologize
Confused.
to my God.
Nahi, confused. First of all, you will try to move back or at least apologize or at least as you said, temporarily थोड़ा सा माफी मांग लेता हूँ कि गलती हो गया बस छोड़ दीजिए, right?
जान है तो जहान है.
Yes, so that is what. So I believe on myself that I can protect myself. I can do this trick little bit. I can surrender even though I don't agree to the principles that he is telling. So I will help myself. This is the idea. But in case of Prahlad Maharaj, he was not like that. He says राखे कृष्ण मारे किए, मतलब अगर भगवान किसी को प्रोटेक्ट करना चाहते हैं तो then who is this Hiranyakashipu to kill me? It is not possible. He was totally fearless. And why he was fearless? Because he had surrendered himself. That much. Are you able to understand? Even if you see in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna tells, he explains the complete Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, right? And after that, what he does, he just tells that Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Saranam Vraja. I'll take you to that verse. Maybe you can better. So this is chapter 18, 18.66. Yes. The sloka goes like this: Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam saranam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma suchaha. What is the meaning of this? That abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. You forget everything. All varieties of religion means basically all types of ideologies that you have. You are a king, you are a son, or you are a very smart person, or whatever ideas that you have, you just give it up and surrender unto me. And then what will happen? I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Okay, so now he could have stopped here. But then he says again, do not fear, because sometimes we don't have this faith that Krishna will protect, because we have not developed that much of faith. So the point is, the more we associate with devotees, the more we associate with good people, like-minded people, and we study these scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and there are many Puranas. So we spend a time. We पहले होता था ना, बच्चे लोग क्या ना तपस्या करते थे. For example, आपको मैं बताता हूँ, साधना करते थे. इसको तपस्या नहीं बोलेंगे, साधना. It's like कोई एक सिंगर है तो क्या करते हैं वो, कभी खट्टा नहीं खाते हैं, है ना, आइसक्रीम नहीं खाते, बिकॉज उनका गला बिगड़ जाएगा. एंड दे डू साधना, होल डे दे विल बी जस्ट सिटिंग विद but the point is, they would do this sadhana. Sadhana means constantly given time for something, right? So this is the time when we are youth. We have got some time with us. We can see cricket and play here and there, play video games and do chit chat and all that. But if we invest our time to understand this spiritual subject matters, and then what happens? We develop more and more faith in that, and our faith gets strengthened. Okay, so definitely Krishna will clear off all the dirt that is there in our heart, but we have to surrender. Okay, are there any questions? Did I answer you, Rohit?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? So we should all take this message from this session, that Prahlad is our hero. All of you please say, Prahlad is our
Yes, sir.
hero, right? So we need not follow anyone else in this world. If we just simply follow Prahlad Maharaj, then definitely success is guaranteed. Right? We try to implement, imbibe whatever we can in our life. Okay. If there are no, stop. Prahlad is our hero. Thank you. विजय ना क्या बोलते हैं, जी मैन, शक्तिमान एंड स्पाइडरमैन, दे आर ऑल आवर हीरोज. But in reality actually Prahlad Maharaj is our hero.
Also,
Yeah.
I had a question. Why Lord is called Achyuta?
Why Lord is called as Achyuta? Achyuta means च्युत. च्युत मतलब one who is defeated. जो व्यक्ति जो कहीं पर डिफीट नहीं होते हैं उनको बोला जाते हैं अच्युत. कभी वो उनका कोई फॉल डाउन नहीं होता है, एक हायर प्लेटफॉर्म से नीचे लेवल में कभी वो नहीं गिरते हैं, राइट? सो दैट्स व्हाई ही इज कॉल्ड एज अच्युत. च्युत हो जाना मतलब पूरा क्या बोलते हैं इसको, खंड खंड होकर के गिर जाना, या फिर getting defeated at some point. But Lord is not like that. No one is equal to him, or no one is superior to him. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that what is that verse? I'm just forgetting. Sutre Mani Gana Iva verse. Anyone remembers?
अमृतस्य पुत्र.
No.
मम्मी वंशु.
No. Mame Vamsa nahi. Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchid Asti Dhananjaya. That one. Yes, this one. Mattah Parataram Nanyat Kinchid Asti Dhananjaya Mai Sarvam Idam Protam Sutre Mani Gana Iva. Mattah Parataram Na Anyat. That is the meaning, that O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. You have seen this sloka in your third session of Discover Yourself course, that just like a pearls are strung on an thread. So if the thread is cut, then all the pearls will fall away. So we are able to actually see from outside the pearls, but we are not able to see the thread, right? So Krishna says like that only, that I am that thread. I am only carrying everything in this world, and beyond me there is no truth. So that's why Lord is called as Achyuta. Okay. Anything else? Okay, hope I am done. So maybe we can, I hand over it to Vikram.
Yes, so thank you, sir, for such a wonderful um, description of the qualities that you mentioned about the Prahlad Maharaj. So, as remembering that how Prahlad Maharaj he preached the message to his friends, although everybody was opposing Prahlad Maharaj, but still he was so much faith on the Lord, and he surrendered, as you mentioned rightly, that if we surrender to Lord, then Lord will protect us. So Prahlad Maharaj, although many different things, like his father was trying to um, trying to trouble him, trying to kill him, but still Prahlad Maharaj, because he was having a lot of faith on the Lord, is constantly remembering Lord, so he got protected. And you mentioned that yes, the Prahlad is our hero. So many of us was having previously different heroes, but now we can take inspiration from Prahlad Maharaj and can increase our faith so that we'll remember the Lord in our difficult time. So thank you, sir, for such a wonderful explanation.